Welcome back to the channel, Real Repairs for Real Customers. First of all, I want to thank all of the techs that responded to my previous video. Thank you for all the well wishes. And more importantly, thank you for communicating and sharing with me your success stories and also your challenges, because that is really what makes our community so interesting, isn't it? It makes our work fun and challenging at the same time. So thank you for all of those comments. The reason for this video, I wanted to make a short video sort of springing off of our previous video. And the reason for that is the first two repairs that I did after posting the previous video highlight how appropriate what was said in that video is for our technicians today. So what we're going to do is just take a look at some opportunities, really, that are especially pertinent to today's technicians in the automotive market primarily. So all of these observations have been since the previous video, and so they're very timely. Let's take a look. So in the meantime, I've taken a little time off to upgrade my system a little bit. We kept having a bottleneck with the graphics, so I've expanded my dedicated graphics memory. Also, I've expanded my onboard RAM memory on the motherboard, and I've installed a new SSD drive that's 1 terabyte because the existing drive was getting maxed out for my operating system. So for now, I've put the operating system over onto that drive, and we're going to see how efficiently that works. Now, if we need to, I will replace the existing M.2 SSD on the motherboard with a 1 terabyte, and that's probably soon to come. This repair is the second one I encountered after posting the previous video. Now, we talked at length there about how the vinyl gets brittle and broken and curled up, and we focused on breaking or bending that spring effect on that vinyl. And so here we see that opportunity again on a BMW center console armrest. The significance of this is that many of the BMW and Mercedes center console covers are very difficult to recover, and so the upholsterers are reluctant to take them apart. Sometimes when you take them apart, they break into pieces, that is, the supporting plastic, and so there's no way to really recover them. So then it becomes incumbent on the repair techs to know how to fix these console covers where they will pass muster for the retail public. We need to polish our approach to repair so that we can do a retail quality repair, meaning that the part has to very closely resemble a brand new part from here on in. This is going to be the next great opportunity for the immediate foreseeable future from my point of view. Here is another retail job that the upholstery shop turned down. It's getting quite large here, but what's the alternative? So we had to jump in and repair it. Even these style armrests can be difficult for the upholstery shops because of this tight radius. But if we can do a flat repair, then this even passes muster for the retail public. Moving on to one of the difficult Mercedes center consoles, the upholstery shop had tried to make a little cover of sorts. Unfortunately, it didn't stay glued on. What's underneath is certainly something that we can repair. And boy, that sounds good when you compare pricing of new consoles and installation. Here again, it is imperative that the repair is of retail quality. Now in this instance, our preparation is threefold. First of all, we have to use xylene to get off all of the adhesive, and that errant color, whatever that was on there. And then we can use our water-based cleaner and a scuff pad to do the general cleaning. And then we'll follow up with some alcohol prep. Now, I had intended to do a full video on the repair, but I was using the cell phone and it was so hot that the adhesive melted and the screen fell off my cell phone. I did manage to put it back together and take some final pictures though. So I think that what we highlighted on our previous video and in the two videos about flat vinyl repairs will be especially helpful to you in coming days. Now I have a Subaru steering wheel coming up, but first of all, let's take a look at the very first repair I encountered since I posted my last video. That's right, the super glue rattle can bandits have struck again. Now we had some comments on the last video about this kind of repair, who is really to blame, but let's analyze this just for a second. The repair technician tried to hide the damage by using the most rigid repair material in a spot in the car that requires the most flexibility because the seat gets doubled over when you slide out. So let's make no mistake about it, this is purposeful. There is a growing number of technicians in the new generation who feel that making more money faster is justification for anything that you can do to disguise the damage instead of repair it, and then move on to the next. Now, the legal term for that varies with jurisdiction, but in some places that would be called breach of trust with intent to defraud. Intent to defraud is defined as the specific intent to deceive or cheat, ordinarily for the purpose of causing some financial loss to another or bringing about some financial gain to oneself. Now, the one hiring the person that's defrauding is also responsible because, as the statute says, a person committing a breach of trust with a fraudulent intention or a person who hires or counsels another person to commit a breach of trust with a fraudulent intention is guilty of larceny. Now, in the jurisdiction where I work, if you make up to $2,000 doing this kind of work, that would be considered a misdemeanor. And if the proceeds are above $2,000, then it would be considered a felony. So then it's easy to see why craftsmen are upset when they're having to compete with a criminal element. And these people are not going to be held accountable because they're on the back of some dealer's lot somewhere out of sight where there's nobody there as a witness to their dastardly deeds. Now, there's an expression, if you are not part of the solution, you are part of the problem. Well, all we hope to do with this channel, we can point out the problem, but we want to present the solution. That's what we hope that we've done with our videos up to date, is to provide a solution, to provide a practical application of repair principles that allow you to become the craftsman with something to be proud of. And let's throw this picture in. This lady just purchased this used Lexus from a franchise dealership, and someone has colored it but then cleaned all the color off, and they refused to make this thing right for her. She is livid, and so she's come to me to get it colored. It's a shame that the dealership treated her this way. Now, some technicians were asking about the Subaru steering wheels that shred and become delaminated. And for these, the most important thing I can suggest is taking 100 grit sandpaper and sanding all of this leather until it's all shredded. So by sanding it, we've turned it into a suede steering wheel. Then after tack cloth, I'm putting on plastic primer. The water-based plastic primer surrounds all of those suede fibers and anchors them down. Now, it dries really quickly, especially on a warm day, and so you can put several applications, but it lays all those fibers down. Now you have your new surface. It's going to be a little bit rough, so you're going to go across that surface with 220 sandpaper. Now you're ready for color. After color, you might want to hit it with 400 grit sandpaper just to get the nice feel to it, and then put a final coat of color, and you're done. So by starting with 100 grit sandpaper, we simplify everything to do with this steering wheel and make it a really easy repair. So thanks for watching. I've got a couple of requests also to feature a little bit of music, so I'm going to leave you with this little clip that I got from a friend of a little impromptu concert we threw together.